Welcome to my video where I show how you can get voxel units into OpenRA, or let's say replace a sprite-based unit with a voxel unit. So this is basically where we start off. So here we have this troop crawler. It's currently sprite-based. This one is the heavy troop crawler. It's just the same image, just a little bit bigger. On top here are some voxel-based units. We're not gonna check them out extensively now, but we will replace these two. So first of all, we will look at the code here. So we have the troop crawler here in the YAML files of OpenRA. This is for China, the vehicles YAML. And what we want to do, we want to make this a voxel unit. Currently, it inherits here some traits, and these make it a sprite unit. For example, like this one here. Here it will also should also be included. So I think we can close this one here now, because we have seen what we want to see. And also what we need, really important, of course, obviously, the game, yeah. And here in this screen we need the voxel files. So China rules, China. Usually this goes in the bits folder, but you can place it anywhere as long as you require it in your mod YAML file, or import it, or whatever the right wording is. So here, for example, we have the troop crawler voxel file, we have a heavy crawler, and we have some C file. C just means the voxel is a bit lower, so it's cut off at the bottom, and then you can place it on water and give the illusion it's swimming. That's quite cool. So we could add this feature to the troop crawler to let it go through water. Not a bad idea here. I think we first import the model, and then we'll see what the flaws are, and once we see the flaws, then we're gonna fix it, because I think everybody who does that will have the same problems. So I think it's better if we first see the pitfall and then understand how to fix it. Yeah, so basically we just look for a unit that is already a voxel. So for example, outpost is not a voxel yet. The harvester is a voxel. We can remove this stuff here. No, the harvester is not a voxel. How sad. Gatling tank is not a voxel. Yeah, this one. So the Dragon tank is already a voxel. We have clicked it a couple of minutes ago. And but the problem is it's a turreted tank. So this voxel has a turret. We could use it and remove the turret, but it's easier to copy from a unit that has no turret. So the overlord will be the same problem here. And I think we should go up to the very top. We have the bulldozer. Bulldozer is a voxel vehicle, but not turreted. So here it inherits from voxel vehicle. Here we have the render voxel with a scale and an image, and also we copy over this render sprites here. So let's go back down to our troop crawler here, and then we just copy over this stuff. So very easy for this part. Of course, that's not going to work like that. First of all, image bulldozer, of course, makes no sense. Here we should add troop crawler, and render sprites we should also add, I guess this is this one here, because this already exists. The render sprites is basically the sprite part, and render voxels is the voxel part. We still need these sprite part for the sole reason that the icon that's shown in the build menu is still a sprite, and it's not going to be rendered as a voxel, obviously. So that's why we go here into the sequences file, in our case of China. We end up here, and we can change this whole part. It's no longer low-res sprite, it's just a we don't care sprite. Oh, here's some close and unload sprites sequences. We won't use them here. And now we want to insert the invisible item part. That's a bit stupid in OpenRA. So we have to ch crawl, and now we add invisible item here. So basically we still have the crawler icon, but we have added a fake invisible item for the sprite. Even though we can deactivate the rendering of sprites, we cannot make it work without this part here. So that's that. Let's go back to the vehicles file. So here we now referencing this sequence chcrawl. Very nice. We are not actually, it's not actually necessary to put this here where render sprites is written. I do it explicitly here, because if other vehicles inherit from the crawler, like here the heavy troop crawler, or the hunter troop crawler, or the mortar troop crawler, whatnot, assault troop crawler. So all these modifications, upgraded versions of this tank or vehicle, they will then also inherit this explicit reference to the troop crawler sprite, which means I don't have to define the same icon again on the other tanks and again, but it will have this explicit reference and will show the same image, which is desirable in our case. So then here the render voxels now has the reference to troop crawler, and the scale is how big the unit is. So if you have the feeling, that's very good of voxels. You don't have to re-render anything. You don't have to like increase a sprite that looks really ugly if you double the pixels or something like this. You can just define the scale and the game engine will render the voxel accordingly. So next step means we need this voxel defined because, well, how does the game know what actually troop crawler is? So we just define this as troop crawler. And we need an idle sequence, so we just steal it from here, and then we call this here in the same way as in our folder. So here is the real reference to the file name, troop crawler. So basically that's that. Should already work like this. So I think we can try this out now. It's not a big deal. Let's go for it. We start the game. It's gonna load for some time. Yeah. So basically, we have, I think. Oh, it's already there. Let's go for the map. Oh, well, we don't need a debug menu for that, but it's an automatism. So we have like 1, 2, 3, 4 different troop crawlers here. So of course we need to differentiate between those. Ooh. Okay, let's go back here, and now we're a bit disappointed because where the troop crawler was in the past, there's nothing anymore. So, but if we move this around, we can see, wait a second, there is something, but it's insanely small. So we are wrong here with the scale. Yeah, so this means we have two options. Option number one is we increase the scale here in the render voxels file, for example, like 10 times bigger. Let's go for that. Alternatively, we could also go into the voxel section editor here. Not like this. And then we open the troop crawler. And this is this unit here. And the troop crawler has some header files that we will look soon. But let's first load the map. So here, this has also a scale. So this scale is defined on the voxel file, and the other scale here is from the game engine. And let's have a look. Yeah, so now this one is big, nice. We just increased it by 10 times. I think it's a bit too big. So 8 is too much, I guess. Because it is as big as an overlord, I guess. And also here the lighting is really strange, which means like the proper wording is that the normals on this voxel are not appropriate. So we're gonna change this, and we're gonna change the size of the unit, and then we're good to go. Of course, also what we want to do is like differentiate between the troop crawler and the heavy troop crawler. Yeah, so like here, for example, the Emperor tanks, different versions, like a nuke version, a plasma version. And also here with a speaker tower, bunker 1 shoots missiles, Gatling, has a Gatling on top, and so on. And the same for the troop crawler. I mean, it's not the same, but also a little bit of difference between different troop crawlers. We could also do that. Yeah, let's go for it. So, first things first. The reason why these normals look really bad is because for different game engines, for different lighting, this different normals mode can be selected in this editor. So we want to go for Tiberian Sun here. And we want to increase the scale. I mean, we could go with a factor of 10 by doing this. So just removing a 0 here. Let's just try it out and see how it looks like. Of course, if we do that, we need to go here to a different value. So we already know now we have increased the voxel by factor of 10. We have decreased this by a factor of 10. So we should actually go to 0.6 here. So the troop core gets a bit smaller. Yeah, these are the two things. But there's one more thing that we should actually do. Now we have changed here the normals. And then we should re-render these normals. Therefore, here's an auto normals tool included in the voxel section editor. And before we run this, we remove redundant voxels. Yes, and it has removed 47,000 voxels. Very nice. So this is mostly voxels that are inside the tank that are not shown anyways. So fine, less computation overload for us. Here we can just pick one of these many modes. We just pick the one that's most computational heavy, and is our CPU load gets, it's written somewhere here that it's really heavy on the CPU. But actually this software is like 10 years old or more. So for our CPU it's less than a second. It happens instantly. So let's go for it. You can play around with this, but much more important for how the unit looks like is the normals mode selected here, for which we have taken Tiberian Sun 1. So we save the vehicle and we go for our next check. Yeah, so the next step would be to think about how can we get the heavy troop crawler with a different image. So it's already inheriting from here. That's why we see the voxel there. That's actually nice. So in case the scale is the same, we could just go and keep the scale out of it because it's already inheriting from the top. So from ch crawl it's inheriting, so it has this scale already, but we might want to change the image. So in this case we might want to call this troop crawler heavy. Oh, I think if we look into our files, troop crawler heavy does exist. But actually we could also call this troop crawler not heavy. Like this here. So if we go to the voxel files, here we could put a new unit, troop crawler not heavy, and then we're a bit self-contradictory and load this. Actually, this must be the file in the sequence. So here, the voxel sequences. This reference here must be the file that exists. So we could call the sequence troop crawler not heavy and then reference a file that's called troop crawler heavy. But actually, this is a bit confusing, so we don't do that. I just want to show how the naming can be different. Important part here is always use lowercase names here. It will work on Windows and it will often cause problems on Linux, and users will have crash in the game. So just always lowercase, and then you have no problems. Okay, nice. Let's load the map again, and troop crawler heavy is this one. Nice. So now we have seen this one is no longer dark. It's, I think, aligns pretty well to the other voxel units. These ones on top here, they have some problems. I don't know yet how to fix this. I've never seen this in a real game, only on this map here where so much stuff is around. I'm still trying to find it out. But if you know a solution, write me. For example, now if I zoom out and these helixes are no longer in the vicinity, it's gone. And once the helixes are seen, somehow it renders a shadow of a helix below this. I don't know. So here we have our troop crawler. It's now a voxel unit. Shadows looks nice. Everything's cool. We can unload our troops as usual. But we have no differentiation between these, obviously, because we have loaded the game before we made the change. But so far we are happy. Let's try to fix the last part. Now we call here troop crawler heavy. This one inherits from chcrawl 2 already, so this should work. Yeah, let's give it a try. We'll see if the game crashed or not. And then, of course, what is important for everyone who wants to understand a bit more of the deeper stuff, we should look at this inheritance here, because this is where the magic happens in my case. If you do another mod than the YMCA mod here that I'm working on, you might not have these abstract traits that are being used here. Let's go. So here this references T as render voxel, which means Tiberian Sun render voxel. So this inherits render voxel, and here we are. This is like the first prototype, the first generic whatever it is, abstract trait. I think there is a correct word for people who are professional programmers, but I don't know it. And now do we have the tiny vehicles? Yes, we have them. So what but this is not a surprise, right? We should have anticipated this. These are really small because we have opened a different file. So it makes a lot of sense to also open the troop crawler heavy and to do the same stuff here. So we just change our headers. We just give it 10 times increase in scale. Nice. Let's get rid of the redundant voxels. Here we go. And let's re-render the normals. And that's that. I hope it will work now. So let's go back to the code part. So here the render voxel has like a body orientation and a render voxel part. So this is where we define our normals, our player palette. And this is like the angle from which the light comes, because these voxels are always have a lighting that comes from the engine and is not pre-rendered into the sprite as it's. So there's a big difference here. So if you tune these numbers, you can make the voxel look different. And we have with voxel body and shadow is true. So we inherit this stuff here. And yeah, well, here the scale is overwritten. This is just a default value. This needs to be adjusted for every unit manually, so it doesn't matter really. Here we change to the Tiberian Sun normals. So this is in line with what we have selected in the editor. Of course, you can go with the Red Alert 2 normals and then set the headers of the voxel to Red Alert 2 and will look more like Red Alert 2. But I'm cheating anyway here, or not cheating, but making my own thing, because I'm using the Tiberian Sun voxels, but Tiberian Sun is quite dark and has a different atmosphere, and I'm going for the quite bright coloring that's more of Red Alert 1 or even Tiberian Dawn, so the earlier CNC games, but trying to do that with voxels. Mostly for these units here, like this one is a voxel. This guy here is a voxel. So, or this one here. So these units, they look quite bright, and the player colors can be identified really fast and easily, which is something I think is quite desirable. So for the Chinese units, I'm trying a little bit different because it's just a few of these colorings on the units. I think I will change this at some point and just get a completely new texture over the units. So we're gonna get a tutorial for this as well, I guess. So now it has worked nice. The troop crawler here, the heavy one, has these heavy one rails that we all know from generals. And nice, we are happy. The task of this video is done. And I think the size is fair. I mean, they're bigger than a Dragon Tank. That's cool. Smaller than a Overlord, also good. And about the same size as a Battle Master. Yeah, cool. That's nice. We are happy here. Yeah, and here the voxel vehicle, for example, only inherits the TS render voxel. So if it is a voxel turret tank, then it has with voxel turret, and of course then you need to define where this file is. For voxel plane I have a lot more stuff. That is because it has some special contrails and stuff, but I think stuff like this might also be added to the voxel vehicles. That's just off the moment. So hope that helps. Have a good time.